Hello guys, today's video will be focused on Russian tourniquet, Russian new generation tourniquet. I guess all of us know the old one, which is basically S-mark type of tourniquet in a pinkish color, reddish pinkish color. But those are not efficient enough. They are still part of Russian Army's standard IFAKs. We finding a lot of them on Russians. But the new generation is this one. Basically, it look kind of like the cat, okay? It have the same features, the safety tip. It's a white piece of Velcro and a nylon material. What we found on the Russians, they have a big problem to adapt on those, okay? They zip tie them on their gear, they don't have really idea what they're doing with them. Also, all of the serious Russian units, all the Recon, Sober, VDV, they don't use those, they use the Western stuff, okay? So they use soft white, they use cat tourniquets most of the time, but they use Western stuff, same like the gear, okay? All the serious units use Western gear. All the serious units, the top tier, that of course get the funding, use Western night vision. So this tourniquet is made by the company Medplant. This one is called GK02. There is also GK01 with D-rings on each side instead of this plastic buckle, okay? This is how you get the tourniquet out of the plastic wrapping. It have those two Velcro straps on them just to keep it together, so we remove those, okay? Then we have a manual and the tourniquet itself, okay? Now, from my understanding, you can apply this tourniquet pretty much like the cat, okay? The cat pre-generation 7. So it will mean through one loop for the application on hand, self-application, you just get it through one loop, tie it down, close it, and it should be enough, okay? For leg, or if you apply the tourniquet to somebody, you apply it on the extremity and you get the end through both loops. So now we will go through the application of the GK02 tourniquet. So opening it up, remove the end completely as you are supposed to on the cat, put it under the limb as high as possible, through one loop, through the second loop, tie it down, and now you would expect that I will be doing the classic turning with the tension bar like so. But that's not the case with this tourniquet. Here we have a little bit different system, okay? So we will start to do this. What is very important is always to put the bar all the way to the end, okay? When you leave it a little bit like this, you dig under this plate, you basically make it non-functioning. Every time all the way to the end, I can already feel the tension building. Now, what's the benefit of this system is that if I pass out now, without having it completely tight, it will still stay under tension, okay? It's not like the tension bar where basically if you didn't irritate it, you just lost all the tension, okay? So here you just keep adding the twists. I will just check the pulse, if there is any left. Well, one more twist, like this. Okay, this should be enough. Now, what I will note compared to the cat tourniquet, this is significantly slower to tight, okay? But for the self-application, I really like the feature that it always stays irritated, okay? Even when, let's say that you did the tamponade of the wound, so you releasing the tourniquet slowly, okay? You don't need to have your hand on the tension bar like on the cat and do the 1 minute per half twist, okay? Here you just can take like so. Okay, now I have half twist, I can manipulate the patient, Then I can do another half. Okay, so that's a very nice feature. This ring with the time, there is no irritation, okay? So I don't like that feature at all. I still think it's much better to write somewhere the time. If not forehead, then I seen it done on the uniform above the wound. It would be somewhere here written. It's possible too, okay? So overall, you can say that you can see that the build quality of the tourniquet is much lower than on the cat, but it's functioning tourniquet. Let's try the self-application on hand. So I have it in the same configuration how I have my cat generation 7. That means the end go only through one of the loops. In this way I would have it attached in front of my vest. So let's say my left hand is wounded. So I want to put it on as high as possible. Try to tie the other hand on the Velcro. And let's start tightening it up. Once you choose on which side to tighten it up, of course you can change your mind, but basically it doesn't matter on which side you start turning, okay? So I can already feel the tension building. I can also feel that the flap of my shoulder pocket is in the way big time. Okay, let's check for the pulse on the extremity. One more turn, hop. And there is still a little bit of pulse left. One more turn, hop. Rotate. Now it's good. So let's say I would be so hardcore that I even put the time. So now it's 11. Now it should be 12. Okay, like this in theory I should be ready to go. So yes, on the self-application, even when you get the end through one of the loop, this Russian tourniquet can do it on the upper extremity, okay? Now let's say the end, I would untie it, and you can see, okay, it will became loose, but it's the same on the cat generation 7. If you just do it through one of the loops, you would untie the end, it will get loose. So always make sure that you really secure well the ends. You can, on the cat of course there is the safety flap, this one, so you just put the loose end under it, put the time over, that's it. Here I would just try to tuck it in the pocket somewhere there, so there is no accident. So what's the overall conclusion about this Russian tourniquet? It's exactly the same like all the Russian gear or the Russian technique, yeah? It has some good ideas. Are those ideas necessary? I'm not completely sure about that, okay? It's like the AK-12, okay? It has some little things done, but some of them are very wrong, some of them are good, so it's like very mixed feelings. It's the same for this tourniquet. The build quality is horrendous. It's single-use tourniquet, so the same like the cat. If you wish to use this one actively and train with it, you need to buy 2 tourniquets, and after a few trainings this one will get destroyed anyway, okay? So yes, stay with the cat tourniquet, that's what I do. Even, for example, I like the soft white the most out of all the tourniquets, because it have the fast buckle, all that. But what I know that all the units are trained on cats, okay? So even when we have some guys from territorial defense, some mobilized guys that are always around, actually I got help in my latest endeavor by policemen, okay? By some police unit that was just thrown at frontline, they applied my tourniquet on, okay? So you never know, and if you have something very fancy, some rigid tourniquet, something that's look very different than the common stuff, maybe the provider of the help would actually not know how to use it properly, okay? So stick with your cats, preferably the generation 7, okay? So thank you very much guys for watching, and see you in the next video.